Good. Hello, and welcome to Exploring the Unsolved with Melissa. Today, we're focusing on one of the most mysterious mysteries that has ever plagued Yosemite National Park, the unfounded disappearance of Michael Ficery.
Like and subscribe.
It was June 15, 2005, when 51-year-old Michael Ficery entered Yosemite National Park. An experienced hiker, a man who loved the outdoors, and for someone who had done this kind of thing dozens of times before. He signed his wilderness permit, packed light, and started up the trail towards Till Mountain. He told his friends he'd be back in a few days. He never came back, though. More than 20 years later, there's still no answers, no remains, no confirmed sightings, and more importantly, no evidence of foul play. Only questions and one disturbing mystery. What really happened to Michael Ficery at Yosemite National Park? Before Michael first became the subject of one of Yosemite's longest and most confounded missing persons cases, he was just Mike, a surfer, a thinker, a man who lived quietly but with a purpose. He was born on March 3rd, 1957, raised in Southern California. He and his sister were both adopted, part of a small yet loving family that valued education and independence. He graduated from the University of California and later worked for the U.S. Postal Service. Friends say he was intelligent, kind, and he had a photographic memory, the kind of person who never forgets a detail. According to friends, Mike wasn't just smart, he was brilliant. He could remember every number, every map, every line, every route he ever taken. He wasn't flashy. He didn't chase material things. He was simple, rode his bike every day to work and spent weekends hiking, surfing, and reading. He was the picture of health, according to many. But according to those close to him, Michael also had a habit of underestimating the wilderness, pushing himself harder than most would dare. He loved hiking alone, but he always thought, I'll be fine, I've been here before. That's who he was, according to his close friend. Michael entered Yosemite National Park. He parked his car at the Hitchy Reserve trailhead and planned a multi-day solo backpacking trip. He moved with ambitious, from Ratchet Falls to Till Mountain, moving through the Beehive before returning to Hitch Hitch. Till is remote, rugged, a place where few hikers venture. The part of Yosemite isn't for beginners, it's wild country. Thick bush, unprotected weather, sleep terrain. It's easy to get lost up there, for an expert. But Michael was up for the challenge. Michael was familiar with the park. He'd hiked there before. He told friends he wanted solitude, just him and nature. But then 4 days later, when his wilderness permit expired, he didn't return. At first, no one panicked. Maybe he extended his hike or found a close park to camp another night. But by June 19th, his parents started to worry. They hadn't heard from him. No phone calls, no notes, nothing. By June 21st, they've contacted Yosemite Park Rangers. And what happened next will become one of the most intensive and baffling searches in park history. Park officials launched a mass search and rescue operation, including more than 50 personal dogs, helicopters, even the U.S. Marines. The cost, nearly $500,000, one of the most expensive searches Yosemite had ever seen. Searches covered hundreds of acres, deep canyons, fast-flowing creeks, dense bush, and steep granite slopes. And they found something. Near the snow line by Till Mountain, searchers discovered Michael's backpack sitting neatly beside the trail. Inside were his wallet, a camera bag with no camera, a tropical map, and an empty gallon milk jug he used for water. But no Michael, and this spelled bad news for his family. According to one of the search leaders, the pack looked like it had been placed there carefully. It wasn't torn, scattered, it was just there. But there was no sign of Michael. No footprints leading the way, no torn clothing like say from an animal attack or maybe he was killed. Nothing. Even with advanced tracking dogs and aerial searchers, the trail went completely cold as they had no idea where he went. So what happened to Michael Ficery? Over the years, several theories have emerged, yet none fully conclusive. The simplest theory is most likely Michael could have fallen, perhaps while crossing one of the gigantic slopes near Cherry Creek. The region is notorious for hidden drop-offs, slick rocks, unpredicted water levels. If he slipped into the current, his body could have been carried miles downstream into inaccessible terrain. The water was ice cold, snow melted, and if he went in there, there's no way he could have survived long. We've recovered victims months later, sometimes never, according to park rangers. The problem is, no remains were ever found. Not then, not now. Theory 2 is that Michael suffered some kind of medical emergency. Michael's friends mentioned he sometimes, due to a medical condition, had trouble swallowing food, a condition that led to choking or dehydration. If he had a medical emergency deep in the forest, he could have collapsed far from the trail, choked, and then died. But then again, no sign of struggle, no belongings, no remains were ever found. As he choked to death, he most likely would have found a body, or maybe someone would have heard something, and then alerted the rangers. A third theory is that more mysterious, is that Michael simply walked away from his life. After all, he was known to live off the grid, uninterested in material things. Could he have chosen to start over somewhere else, or seeing his identity in the wilderness he loved? His family said no. According to his sister, he never did that to us. He wasn't running from anything. He was content. There wasn't a man looking to disappear. And investigators couldn't find any reason why he would want to voluntarily leave. Though maybe he no owed debts, no money, nothing. And then there's our last and fourth theory is that then there's the darkest theory, that someone else was involved. Rumors have often circulated about criminal activity in the background at Yosemite, drug trafficking, illegal hunting, even still offenders operating in the parks. There's no evidence Michael met anyone on the trail, but Yosemite has seen violent crimes, including the 1999 murders committed by Carol Stander, the so-called Yosemite Killer. Could history repeat itself? Did Michael simply vanish by chance, added to another list of Yosemite's list of unsolved disappearances? Some people would say that Michael's fit condition and health does make him a prime suspect or his first serial killer, or possibly even more darker, organ trafficking, as he would fit the criteria of what they will be looking for in a victim. And then there's Yosemite's dark history. Since its founding in 1890, Yosemite has seen more than 1,300 deaths from falls, exposures, drowning, and other causes. And as of right now, 33 people are still missing. Michael, unfortunately, being one of them. In fact, experts rank Yosemite as the third most dangerous national park in the United States, with more than 125 fatal incidents from 2014 to 2023 alone. Experts believe most people underestimate how wild it really is. The beauty maxes the danger. The misstep can be fatal. For every person found, another vanishes. Then the story fading into the green and pine. The official search for Michael ended, but Michael's family refuses to give up. His sister and loved ones are still looking. They continue to hike the same trails, calling his name, scanning Richard for clues. Organized private search parties, work with psychics who some claim Michael is still alive, but nothing credible ever surfaced. Years passed. Park kept its jungle records on file in case human remains are found and discovered, they never were, but they still have them in case a John Doe skeleton is found. They can match the then records that to Michael's and give the family some answers. Michael's sister later on founded a small company called Park 6, which I believe has since closed down, to help provide hikers with better safety resources so that no family had endured the pain hers did. The mission, but she still remains in her mission to make sure people have come home from the wilderness. She continues to be an outspoken advocate for this, to ensure that no one goes through what her family has to go through, and no one suffers the fate that Michael went through. Today, nearly 20 years later, Michael Ficery's name is still listed on National Park Service's cold case list. No cause of death, no timeline, no confirmed evidence, only theories. What happened out there? Did he slip and fall unseen by anyone? Did the forest take him? Or did something more dark about his missing that we still don't understand? For his family and friends, the questions are endless. The silence of the Sierra Nevada is deafening. According to one friend, it's like he vanished out of thin air. No trace, just gone, and that's something you never get used to. Michael Ficery loved Yosemite. It was a place where he found peace. And maybe that's where he found his final rest. If you have any information about the mysterious disappearance of Michael Ficery, contact Yosemite's National Park Service. Until then, his case remains unsolved and remains one of Yosemite's most haunting mysteries. I'm your host, Melissa. Stay safe, stay aware, and remember, the illness doesn't give back what it takes.